let's go to the fourth briefing. And that, as we had already said, this is Infineon, Tributech, Magenta, and this is a very important bridge building because here technology is offered, which can be used, technology which could be also used in the other challenges, or this is a special subject which can be realized. Well, the possibilities are multifold. On our website, you find already some examples, but also the technology LTE narrowband of company Magenta, a Tributech panel with OEM, and the chip technology and the microelectronic technology of Infineon are just merged into one challenge. And what they can offer and how they invite you, well, will be seen now. Julian, Eder. This is company Infineon. Well, Lena Wostal of company Magenta will talk, and Tributech from the Tabakfabrik is Michael Bernhofer and Patrick Lamplmair from Vienna. I see already the slides on the screen. Please explain what is expecting us. Thank you, Tom, for this very detailed introduction. Of course, we are happy to be part of you. We have been already with you for 7 years. This year, together with Tributech and Magenta, which we love. Tributech, we have got to know with industry meets makers. And so these are the good examples of the open innovation group. This year, we cooperated in order to present an IoT challenge. And before we talk about that, a few words about Infineon. We are a semiconductor producer. We do sensor solutions, microchip. We try to make life easier and greener and simpler. And together this year, we thought, let's do it with Tributech and Magenta. We want to offer sustainable, safe, secure, and clever IoT together with you makers. And because we saw every final device can be made, can be supported with IoT. We saw this during the last years, and with these IoT devices, which we produce together with you in industry meets makers, and we want to just offer a safe data system. How do we want to do that? We mentioned it already. Tributech is making available a module for data safety. Magenta is offering technology in NB-IoT, LTE, so connectivity is guaranteed, and Infineon offers microprocessors or sensor solutions. And finally, a smart, a sustainable and safe IoT solution should be seen or should be found on paper. And above that, we have specialists on board and who offer a lot of technology solutions. On the left side, you see microchips, but also sensor, which are and radar, CO2 sensors, microphones. So the portfolio is quite big, and we invite you to use all these possibilities and present us your interesting ideas and to work together with us. I will talk now, give the word to Patrick. I'm Patrick Lamplmair. I'm responsible for product development, and this year we are together with Magenta and Infineon in Industry Meets Makers with this new module. the OEM module. We have two versions, a smaller one, which is like a €2 coin. And here we can use a lot of technologies. We have a connectivity module with data platform. And so that the development is going quickly, we also have a kind of memo shield, which is using with all popular development kits, also with the Infineon boards, which we want to make available for our participants. The next slide, please. Here you see the main parameters of this module. You have an LTE and a narrowband IoT module. There is also a hardware security chip and a GPS sensor. It's offering over-the-air updates and configurations and an interface for telemetry, configuration, and app stats, and you can process certain sensor data and transfer to the backend. And this hardware module is already functioning and is offering IoT and data platform, where we talk about security provisioning, device management, data management, digital twins, and many more. Maybe one slide. Next slide. Here you see in very simple ways the architecture with the module, the OEM module is integrated, and thus a connectivity is offered between the device and the back end. And here you have telemetric data, temperature, or the electricity sensor, and you can transfer that. You have also an additional security layer for hardware security modules, and this makes it possible that data can be produced. And there is also a management for the modules where you have updates for the configurations. And so you have an interface on the device where you can transfer the data, manage the data, and you also in the back end, you have interfaces where you get the data and process the data of your application. So this is a kind of middleware between sensor electronics and back end with the help of the modem and the data platform. Next slide, please. Well, and here you see the IoT vertical and showing the technology of Tributech, and go one step further. Here do not only have IoT device and use the applications, but here you have the possibility to separate, to divide data selectively for individual cases. In the enterprise, you want to, let's say, connect platform, or also in the added value chain, technology gives the possibility to be used as a middleware and just send selected data to other enterprises and just enable other use cases. And now in that Industry Meets Makers Bootcamp, we offer to the participants hardware or access to platforms, and we can do the first experiments with for use cases with our participants. That's more or less all from my side. Good introduction. A few years ago, well, our briefing partner are introducing the subjects, and you have heard already, there is also this access to the platform, and with Tributech we can make available technology. Is now Lena Wostal of Magenta here. Hello, Lena. Maybe you say a few words about the connectivity which I used for that project. Well, Magenta Telecom is well known from internet, from calling, telephone use, but maybe you do not know Magenta for that subject. and this is IoT, but still we can offer certain things. Here we have two IoT networks which have special features in order to develop these appliances. On one side, we have IoT and LTM, and you see very nicely, well, of course, we will not do the latent critical appliances. When you have something latent critical things, you will use other technologies, but you have the big advantage that this transfer technology can penetrate buildings, and the life cycle of the batteries is quite high for the devices. When we go on, then here we see what I've mentioned before with that overview. Latent critical applications, connected car, virtual reality, or drones are appliances which can be better with 5G or 4G. But when you want to send only a few data and maybe only a few times per hour, then of course this model will be better, because here the life cycle of the battery is much better. And what is also important, of course, we have also smart city appliances based on 5G. This is just a big overview in which areas you can use these two things, or what you can do with our appliances. And I would like to give the word to Markus again when we talk about the application. Well, don't be afraid. This is a lot of information which we make available during the bootcamp. You will, of course, will be supported by our specialists. You are advised by our specialists. The application areas, as Lena said already, are starting with smart counting, environmental monitoring, quality monitoring, and air liquid level sensitivity. So there are no limits. And you can see how this will work in the future. During the last weeks, we have selected projects, but we are still open for spontaneous participants even after the bootcamp. Well, you can always apply to us when you like our challenge. So you will get all hardware available, and the experts will be available. And what we expect at the end of the day is a working prototype, or at least good basic work on which we can continue. And in the best case, Tributech could be an example for a partnership with one of the enterprises, and we can cooperate in the future. Well, that's our timeline. We are available in the bootcamp. We are participating in the bootcamp. That's all from our side, and we wish you interesting 4 days for the bootcamp. And we are looking forward to get to know interesting specialists with great projects. Thank you, Markus.